Good evening and welcome back to the Invictus Racing League's Realistic Performance League. Here today we are in Spain for the Spanish Grand Prix, and I am with my co-commentator, as always, Malc. How are you doing, Malc?
You're right, Tim. It's good to hear your voice back on the co-commentator's box as well, so it should be a fantastic evening. I am doing very well. Hope you're okay and well, and looking forward to round 11 at the Spanish Grand Prix.
Yeah, it's good to be back, Malc. My voice is still a little rough. I am quite sick today, as I've had a cold all weekend, and I'm still having to deal with it, but I am back. I'm able to be here and commentate for the Spanish Grand Prix, and I cannot miss the final two races, especially when we have a heated championship battle in both the drivers and constructors standings as we do now.
Absolutely, and it's just been absolutely manic the last few races that you've missed out, but I'll give you a bit of an update for yourself and everyone else that's watched the stream so far. Obviously, the battle between Nightshade and Harry. Nightshade, who lost out a lot of points at the French Grand Prix in round 9. He slowly got himself just ahead with a point ahead, but that gap is getting closer. But with 2 rounds to go, it's not only those 2 drivers that are battling out, they're in opposite teams for the constructors as well. So those are the constructors that we need to watch out for, and they're like 1 point difference. That is mad, Tim. That is absolutely mad, and I hope we're going to see some unbelievable moments, as we always like to say, during the stream. And I think we're about to start, Tim. So are you looking forward to the Spanish Grand Prix tonight?
I am looking forward to it, and of course, tonight we are going to have short qualifying. This is the final time this season that we will have short qualifying, but let's just go back to the points for a minute, Malc, because we need to address the big elephant in the room, and that is that constructors battle being 1 point difference between first and second. Bump and Run Racing has 324 points. B-Tech Racing has 323. And that becomes even more impressive when you realize that the guy in second place in the driver's standings, who you were talking about, Harry, does not yet have a win this season. And yet he is only 11 points away from Nightshade's, and his team is only 1 point away from Nightshade's team. So these two drivers have been very consistent all season to put themselves up on top of the point standings in both the drivers and constructors. And let's not take away from Saab and Charlie also scoring for B-Tech Racing, as well as Wojtek with Bump and Run Racing, and for the short time that he was with us this season, Rymac as well.
Absolutely, and it just brought us some fantastic moments, and with the two teams who are like fighting for those drivers and the constructors championships as well. So it's good to see the battles that we are loving it, and trying to see what's going to happen in the next 2 races, which is the 2 final races of the season coming up. Obviously tonight we're at the Spanish Grand Prix for the, as you said, the final time we'll do the qualifying scenario, but then next week will be the final time we'll be doing the reverse grid. So Singapore is the finale as well, so it's going to be absolutely tough whatever happens tonight. But either way, I wish everyone all the very best of luck. That's all I'm going to say. I wish everyone all the very best of luck, because you do not, and I repeat, Tim, you do not want to make any silly mistakes now in round 11.
You are exactly right about that, Malc. And really, to talk about clinch scenarios for just a moment, with Nightshades being 11 points ahead of Harry with just today and next week to go, if Harry wrecks out of this race tonight, and speaking of the devil, actually, Ryan just spun coming out of turn number 1 on his outlap, so no damage on the car there, but he has spun, he's got the car turned back around. But if Harry wrecked out in this race tonight, scored 0 points, and Nightshades went on to win, he would no longer have a chance at the championship next week. If, however, Harry wins the race tonight and Nightshades does not score any points, then that's where things get very, very tricky, because that would put Harry in the lead of the points standings battle, but that would give Nightshades a nice little gap to be able to maybe overcome in Singapore. So it is just so very close. We cannot stress how important tonight and next week is going to be.
Absolutely, and as it was said, every points mean prizes, and if these drivers can produce something at the Spanish Grand Prix, then that is one hell of a show as well. But I think Nightshades has just left the garage, so hopefully he'll try and get back into the garage as quickly as possible, so hopefully there'll be no technical issues from his point of view. But I've just had some information from the weather crew, Tim. Do you want to know what's going to happen in the race
Oh my
tonight?
goodness, is it going to rain?
You are right, but at the second half of the race. So this is why Spanish Grand Prix is going to bring all that experience and all the drivers to try and do everything they can to make no silly mistakes. And now, like I said, throughout the week, the F1 League on the PlayStation platform had rain on intermediate. So this is definitely opportunity for Harry to give that experience in the F1 League experience coming into the Performance League. You got Nightshades, who had, if I remembered it right, I think it was a bit of a wet dry. So, I think it was a dry day, I think, but I can't remember, to be fair. But yeah, it's just basically those drivers need to try and capitalise on. And then last night in the F3 League, we had heavy rain throughout the race, so it's been a nightmare for all the drivers so far in the Spanish Grand Prix. So, and it's going to be absolutely unbelievable stuff for these drivers tonight. And Ryan has just got a fastest lap with a 117.116 tip.
So that's the time to beat on the board. We got a few drivers out now. Going to take a look at Ginger Tiger, who is in the third sector now. We'll ride on board with him as he goes past the Renault. I think that was Wojtek letting him by. Not sure, though. But nonetheless, that is a Renault that is moved out of the way for Ginger Tiger. So the Racing Point machine can continue his lap, going through this tiny little chicane here in the penultimate corner. And now as Ginger Tiger rounds the final corner, he'll cross the line. Where does he end up? He will go 117.161, just a little bit behind Ryan in an AlphaTauri, and Wojtek goes even slower than Ginger Tiger, a 128.1, so it was Wojtek that moved over for him. And now let's take a look at Saab. He's on the medium tires, but he is on a flying lap at the moment. Saab in the Mercedes. So far looking pretty good. He was purple in the first sector, but I think that might just be his best, or his personal best, instead of the overall best. But nonetheless, Saab in the second sector now. So far keeping it clean, so we'll see where he ends up at the end of this lap, as all these drivers are out on track just trying to get a banker lap in.
Absolutely. I had a quick look at some of the drivers while you was watching Saab. Burmeister, who invalidated his lap, he would have done a 16.4, a 1 minute 16.4, but he invalidated his lap, so he's going to try and do another one. Nigel Gash has just invalidated his lap, so he'll try and build up for another lap on the Racing Point car, but I would have liked to know what time he would have done it. A 16.5. He would have done a 1 minute 16.5, Nigel Gash, so he'll be absolutely fuming. Harry's just starting off his lap, so, and now Saab, as you're watching it from his medium tires, he did a 1:16.822. But then all of a sudden, Ginger Tiger has done a 1 minute 16.819. 3 thousandths of a second, Tim. 3 thousandths of a second for Ginger Tiger to get pole position.
Already getting just a little bit dicey here in Barcelona as we watch Bando Biz now. Bando Biz, of course, in that Alfa Romeo, was the winner of last week's race, being able to win his first race of the season at the Chinese Grand Prix. Congratulations to Bando Biz. Let's see how he does today. He's in the Alfa Romeo. He's starting his flying lap now, so we'll see if he's fast enough for the pole.
Yeah, just see what he can. Oh, it looks like he's invalidated his lap.
Oh, he has.
Yeah. Yes, he has. He's invalidated his lap, Tim. So, but I would love to see what time they would have done to improve on. But while they're going to keep on, Matty, you need to watch out for Matty, who did an absolute stellar of a drive last night in the F3 League in the wet, in the heavy rain conditions. So, and he's been I was speaking to him or chatting to him from what I've been hearing. He has been practicing quite a lot in the wet conditions. So watch out for him in the second half of this race when the rain kicks in. But again, that's all we've been told, guys, from the weather crew. The rain will kick off at the second half of this race. So that's going to be. I'm just excited for this race tonight, Tim.
I am too. There is Matty in the third sector, so we'll see what lap he ends up with. Going through this tiny little chicane. Penultimate corner, now approaching the final corner. Matty really dancing with that wheel, having to hang on to it, but he keeps it close, and on the inside of the track, he crosses the line, and he will go third quickest, a 1:16.966 for Matty in the McLaren.
Brilliant time there from Matty. Nine Shades has just come back from the garage, so hopefully he'll try and get back into the car as quickly as possible. Pass, who's just in the McLaren, he's still invalidated his lap, so he's going to be under a lot of pressure to try. I know there's only like 10 minutes left, but you really want to try and get a good banker lap in to start with, because the track gets warmer and the track will be green warm up for the tyres, so these guys can feel a little bit faster than the times that we are seeing now. Just watching TL4 for rest now. He's coming up to the chicane part, which I feel as though the chicane on the 16th turn at the circuit, the Catalonia Circuit de Barcelona track, it's one of those that you can't make any silly mistakes at all. And with 16 turns, that chicane, I feel, and also the blind right-hander, that's the ones I feel like they need to watch out for tonight, Tim.
You are exactly right about that, Malc. And wow, Burmeister just picked up a time penalty. So there's going to be a lot of time penalties, I think, tonight in this race, because he's invalidated his qualifying lap. So I should say he invalidated his lap and not picked up a time penalty. But if this were the race, that probably would have been a time penalty. But let's take a look at Harry now. He is only on his out lap, but he is approaching the third sector now. In fact, I think Burmeister just passed him. But here is something that I noticed, Malc, that I've not got a chance to mention yet. Look at what car Harry is in. He's in the Haas. Look at what car Nightshades is in. He is in the Haas. Our championship competitors are sharing a pit box tonight.
That is very true. That is very, very true. So, but then again, it's all about it's all about the driver's skill, because in the Performance League, that car can only do what it can do on track, and obviously with the Mercedes it's the fastest car, with Williams version is the slowest car. So these two drivers who are bound out for the Drivers' Championship as well as the Constructors in the same car allocated team for tonight for the Performance League. It will be interesting, but it all depends on how. It's definitely with the driver skills, and they need to try and put it off when it matters on track. And I'm just watching Harry now, and he's just invalidated his lap as well. So how do you feel with those two drivers in the same pit box? Now you've asked me that question, so I'm going to ask you the same question with that.
Well, see, but that's the point I was trying to make, though, Malc, is that it is just insane to have these two drivers in the same pit box, because that could just lead to difficulties. But I think it's a good call. I don't know if the admins did that on purpose or not, but it is a good call, because you brought up a good point that it's all about driver skill, because this is realistic performance, and they're in the Haas, which is not a fast car. So having the two championship leaders in the same car for the last two races gives the championship the best chance, I think, at being decided fairly and based on driver skill and not luck with car allocations.
Yes, I do agree, because it's just the way they've been performing throughout this season, and those are the top two drivers who have been outstanding throughout the season. Nightshades has been outstanding in the Performance League. In the F2 League, he's been struggling, but other than that, I know tonight it's just the Performance League, but he has been on a different planet on a few races that he has done. Bear in mind, though, he had, I think it was I think he had a good run of podiums in the second half of the season, and just watching Spud. Now Spud has just done a 118.267. Another driver that in the past, Tim, that Spud has done in the wet conditions, I forgot to mention. He has been he's been one to watch on his day, and Ginger Tiger's improved his time with 116.566, so that's really, really good. But to be fair, though, with Saab and Wojtek and Nightshades, they're the ones to look out for, because the mediums are going to last. They're going to last about 15 laps. The softs ain't going to last long. The maximum that you probably get is about 9 laps fresh, but because with the qualifying time, you only get about 6 laps. So that's why you can't afford to make any silly mistakes. And Saab has retired. Saab has retired because I think he knows he just doesn't want to do another lap on the mediums, which I don't blame him, to be fair to him.
Yeah, and I don't blame him either. He's already got a decent time at 116.8, and not even half the drivers have a time yet, though, so I would be a little worried about that. But looking at the gap between him and Hulkenberger down there in 8th place, that is just an insane gap, as Maddie goes quickest now, a 116.487 for the McLaren driver. So that is just a crazy lap time. But what's crazier to me is just the fact that over half the drivers have not had a timed lap in yet. A few of them have not even been out on track. So they're running out of time. It's only getting down to 4.5 minutes remaining in the qualifying session. Not sure if some of them are just trying to play a different strategy to where they start on mediums at the back of the pack, or if they are just doing something and can't get out on track right now, or if they're just waiting for that perfect moment and that they're going to come out with like maybe 2.5 minutes to go, just enough time to get around and make a lap.
For me personally, I think they're waiting to get that track to get even warmer for the medium tyres, because they can't afford to start on the softs. They cannot afford to start on the softs. And obviously some of the drivers have gambled to go on the softs to try and pull a gap ahead. But with all these drivers, I think that's what they're doing. I think they're waiting for that perfect moment to try and go on the mediums. Or they're waiting until the top 10 go on and then start on the fresh on the mediums, which it's like who will play the game of try and start with the worn out tyres or probably with the fresh ones. That's the big question at the Spanish Grand Prix as well. If you like what you see so far, guys, please make sure you like, subscribe to the Invictus Racing League YouTube channel for all the live races itself. Check them out, guys, as well. Hulk as well, 116.802. You got Burmeister with a 116.804 now, so that's impressive stuff now from Burmeister. Brilliant stuff. So now Harry's just doing his lap on the mediums. Eric Pancakes on the mediums. Oh, Stevens on the mediums. TL4S is on the mediums now as well. So now we start, as you said, coming up to the 2.5 minute marker, Tim. Now we're seeing a few more drivers really going for it now in the qualifying.
They're going to have to be careful, though, because I've seen the final corner really catch a lot of drivers out and that have them invalidate their laps. So they're going to have to be so very careful to not make any mistakes on this lap so that they can actually get a time in at all. Because once they get back around, I don't think they're going to have enough time before that clock runs out to make yet another run at it. TL4S, maybe, because it's 2 minutes and 18 seconds remaining on the timer now, and he is rounding the final 2 corners. Now rounding the final corner, he's already invalidated his out lap, but as long as he doesn't invalidate it again, then he should be good for the flying lap, and he is so far good for the flying lap as he races down to turn number 1. We'll ride on board with him. There's a few drivers actually coming out of the pits now, so cutting it very close, those drivers are, but TL4S keeping it very, very clean through the first 2 corners, going through the uphill S's, really hugging that curb in turn number 3, going under the Pirelli banner now, and you got to brake way, way hard for this corner turn to the right just a slight bit, keep it on the outside, and have some nice momentum around that corner. Then you got to slow way, way down. And this corner is so hard to slow down for because it is downhill left-hander, and you saw the left front on T04S's car actually lock up that time. So now in the second sector, got to be very careful for this uphill corner as well. This is going to be where we're going to see a lot of drivers get some time penalties, or we might even see some wrecks. If you clip that curve too much, you're going to spin. The wheels are going to spin, and then you're going to spin, and you might even hit the wall, and your day will be done. So you got to be very careful there. So in the third sector now is TL44S. Let's see what he's able to do. So far, it looks like a pretty clean lap, but on those medium tires, let's see what time he gets.
So just watching TL44S now. Burmeister has retired. A few drivers have got into the top 10 as well, so TL44S should be on, moves up to 12th. He has moved himself up to 12th. Just having a look at Pass, or used to be called Pass Moir du Sel. Let's see what he can try and do into the second sector. The blind right-hander. Just try and push on with those medium tyres as well. And like I said, a couple of drivers are into the top 10. You got Nigel Gash with a 1:16.861. Same time with Harry as well in 8th place. You got O'Stephen in 9th, Wojtek in 10th, Nice Chase is in 11th, TL4S is in 12th, as we just saw. O'Stephen has retired. Majority of the drivers, I will not be surprised, will not be bothered to try and do another lap. But here's Bass. Can he try and get pole? Oh, 1 minute 16.588 on the mediums, the fastest mediums driver of this session in the qualifying. That's a really impressive time there, and the qualifying has stopped him. The qualifying has now stopped. We have got Gareth and Bando, and Bando and Gareth are the only ones who have had no time at all just yet. But Matty has just got himself improved time, Tim, with a 1:16.265.
That he has. Let's take a look at Gareth Hall now. He's in the third and final sector. This is going to be his only qualifying lap. He's going to have to be careful to not invalidate. Here we'll ride on board with the Red Bull driver through the penultimate corner. Now bypassing that pit entry, a big overcorrect there, having to turn to the left now around the final corner. Crosses the line, and he goes second quickest, a 1:16.526 for Gareth Hall on the medium tires. My goodness, where did that come from?
I really do not know, but that is a really impressive stuff from the F1 commentator of Gareth. Also doing really well on the Red Bull car. He's definitely got some wings moments. What a lap there from Gareth. Brilliant stuff. And also check him out as well as Saab for the final race next week on the F1 at the Singapore Grand Prix. Check them out. Check them guys out as well. They do a brilliant job on the F1, as well as check out all the rest of the leagues on F2, F3 and F4 on the PlayStation platforms this week, and as well as the PC platform on Wednesday nights on YouTube. And also check out the Xbox leagues on Tuesday nights and Thursday nights on Twitch with Invictus Racing Leagues as well. But what a lap! What a lap! And the fastest driver in the medium tyres as well, Tim.
Yeah, the fastest driver indeed. And did you see that his time is just 0.02 of a second quicker than Ginger Tigers in third place?
That's just mad. Absolutely. Might be one to watch tonight. Might be the one to watch in the Spanish Grand Prix. But then you have to watch out for the rain conditions. But I'll let you carry on with the classification.
And your official starting lineup for the Spanish Grand Prix is Matty on the pole, Gareth Hall in second, Ginger Tiger in third, Ryan in fourth, Pass in fifth, Hogenberger sixth, Burmeister seventh, eighth is Sab, Nitrogash in ninth, 10th is Harry, O'Stephen in 11th, Bando Biz in 12th, 13th is Wojtek, TL4S in 14th, Nightshades 15th, Eric Pancakes in 16th, 17th is Sir Spud, and Tarak in the 18th position. So both Nightshades and Harry not having the best of starting positions here today. Of course, Nightshades being the real loser out of that because he's all the way down in, what was it, about 15th place or somewhere near there.
Yeah, so he'll have to try and start really well tonight in the Performance League at the Spanish Grand Prix. This is going to be an absolutely manic race, and it's going to be tough for these drivers. But I mean, it's been some brilliant qualifying times, but it doesn't matter about the qualifying. You need to produce well in the race. That's where the points are mattered. And when I was mentioning about the points, all the points that you get, wherever position that you finish, as long as you don't get a DNF or DSQ, basically if you leave the session or anything like that, you will not get any points. If you do finish at, say, 11th, you guarantee points. So this is why the Performance League is so special, because all the drivers, it's just points galore. But then, obviously, as we're talking about, the main talking point is the two drivers as well as the two teams for the drivers and the constructors. It's going to be interesting, though, because they're going to have to try and do a really, really good start. But also, at the same time, they need to... you can't afford to make a mistake at this stage now, Tim.
No, you really can't. And you got to remember, though, with the Realistic Performance League, everyone who finishes will get points. So just because Nightshades is all the way down there doesn't mean that he's out of the points. But he's just not going to be scoring as much as Harry if they finish how they start.
Absolutely, and it's you got to have a good. As I keep saying, you need to have a good start, right? And you don't. If you don't, you're going to cost so much time. But look. Again, as I said, it's all about driver skill. You might do well in the qualifying, but you might not do well in the race. So you might have to produce something that, like a rabbit out of the hat, pretty much. And I wish, like I said, I wish everyone all the very best of luck, whatever happens tonight, because this is going to be an absolute. I reckon this is going to be a classic tonight. Do you agree, Tim?
It's going to have to be 33 laps around Barcelona here. And the second half, potential for rain. I think we might, well, we're not going to see every single compounded tire out there, but we're going to see some dry tires. We might even make it to pit stops before we get to the wet tires. Or the intermediates is probably going to be the likely option.
Well, it all depends. It all depends. As far as I've been told by the weather crew, it will be raining, but whether it will be heavy or light rain, that is the big question. But the clouds are not great. They're not. It's just you just can't. As I said, you cannot afford to make a mistake at this stage. And with the drivers that are on the softs, they need to last as long as they can. But obviously, probably on lap 5, 6, I would expect them to pit. So I will not be surprised if they pit in the mediums. Every Pancake and Sir Spud have been disqualified from the formation lap, so they will have cold tyres, and they cannot. You can't afford to lose you cannot to start off with the cold tyres because it's going to ruin them massively. If you like what you see so far, guys, please make sure to like, subscribe to the Invictus Racing League YouTube channel for all the live races itself. Please check them out, guys. We're at the round 11 of the Spanish Grand Prix. All the drivers are slowly coming into the pit, to the starting grids. So, Tim, as always, I'll let you do the honours.
And an honor it is each and every week, Malc. It is so great to be back here for the final 2 races. But before we get to the final one, we got to do the penultimate one, and that's the one you're about to watch here tonight. Waiting for all the drivers to line up at their appropriate positions on the grid, and here we go. You hear those engines revving, you hear those itchy pedal feet. There's a championship battle on the line, and that makes everyone just a little bit anxious. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights in the air. No red lights. We are green for the Invictus Racing League, Realistic Performance League in Spain. Maddie getting out to a very early lead in racing down into turn number 1, but we got 3 wide for second place. It is Gareth Hall in the Red Bull Ginger Tiger in the Racing Point, and oh my goodness, the AlphaTauri Ryan just sends it in the inside, trying to go for the second position. Ginger Tiger wins out. Ryan is now in third, having to chase, but trying to go around the outside, goes off track just a little bit, does a crossover move. Is he able to make the move? Yes, he is. Move Ryan up to the second position. No, not yet, actually. Ginger Ginger Tiger fighting back hard on the outside. Now Ryan's made the move and cleared that pink racing point. But look at this, the other Alpha Tauri sitting it underneath of Ginger Tiger. That is Burmeister. So Ginger Tiger losing 2 positions already. Look at this here, on board with Ginger Tiger, and he is fighting hard with Burmeister, but Burmeister motors through, but Burmeister messes up.
I'm so sorry to interrupt you there. There's been a crash. There's been an absolute crash at the just before the blind right-hander. There was contact between, unless I'm mistaken, that was it was Gareth who got onto the caught up with, I believe, one of the Renaults, I think it was. I might be wrong. I do apologise if I get it wrong, guys. But I saw. It was the battle between the 2 drivers, so it was side by side. But then all of a sudden, Gareth unfortunately got caught from one of I believe that was the Renault. Again, I do apologise if I got that completely wrong. But then now we have got the safety car. But also earlier on in that first lap, TL4 has lost it after turn 2, so he'll be out. He's already out of the race. Eric Pancakes is also out of the race as well. But again, that'll have to be looked at after the stewards. But again, I will say this now, I do apologise if I get it completely wrong, but it was just last minute thing, and looking at it now, it's just absolutely mad stuff, to be fair. And we're just waiting for the safety car to slow up now, but it's just an absolute mad start for the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League team.
Yeah, already a safety car on lap 1. It's now lap 2, so never mind the scoring glitch over there on the left-hand side of your screen. That will be fixed momentarily. But DXT Matty leads Ryan and Burmeister. That's your top 3. With Ginger Tiger and Bando Biz rounding out the top 5. Sab, Harry, Nitro Gash, Hulkenberger, and Pass your top 10. Nightshades in 11, just outside that top 10 with O. Stevens, Sir Spud, Turok, Wojtek, and Gareth Hall still on track. Eric Pancakes, TL4S, the 2 drivers that get the bad end of the deal of that wreck, and unfortunately will not be able to finish this race. So already it has been insane, Malc, and we saw Ginger Tiger really drop a few spots there on the start. He was able to move his way up into 2nd, but then dropped all the way to 4th, and somehow Gareth found his way back into 16th. You said that he was involved with that carnage there, so that would explain it, and I think that is Gareth on the screen that is trying to catch the pack.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt there, Tim.
Oh, you're fine.
It wasn't Gareth's fault. It wasn't Gareth's fault at all. It was just it was the Renault that was caught, and then all of a sudden the Red Bull. Yeah, that it was just. Again, it will need to be checked out with the stewards as well. But I will say this now: it wasn't Gareth's fault from what I saw at all, and I will put it up after. But from everyone's point of view, it's you want to. It's at this stage, as I said. Everyone wants to try and get points. You guarantee points either way, but obviously the bigger the position that or the higher the position, the more points that you get. And you can't, like I said, you try to push on massively. And unless I'm mistaken, Gareth is on the intermediate tyres already. So Wojtek is on the softs. So obviously. Unless I'm mistaken, Tim, I can't. Well, the rain is definitely not in at all from what I could see. But I don't know if that was a mistake from the pit crew at all. Unless I'm mistaken, Tim.
Yeah, that is an interesting call from Gareth there. Just realized I actually did not have the tire graphic displayed, but Gareth Hall did decide to go for the intermediate tire. So that might have been. You know, like you said, that might have been a miscommunication between pit crew and Gareth, or maybe he knows something that we don't, and he took the opportunity to change onto the intermediates, hoping that he can jump the rest of this pack when they inevitably have to pit for intermediates. But as we ride on board with Matty, the rain's not falling. So, unless... Oh, wait a minute. I think it's starting, though. It might be starting. We're going to have to wait and see. But Matty is the control car here,
yes.
So regardless... Oh, is it raining?
It is. It's slowly raining, but not enough. Not enough, obviously, because it's just literally just started. So I would not be surprised when it's slowly coming in, when it hits the halfway marker. which is on lap 16/17 of the lap. And now we're back into racing now for the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League. And now Matty trying to pull away from Ryan from first place to second. You got Burmeister in the medium tyres in third, Ginger Tiger in fourth, Bando's in fifth. But as I said, the rain is kicking in, but not as much yet, Tim. Not as much yet, but I'm hoping this is not going to hamper Gareth's call. But again, I could be, I hope it hasn't hampered too much. But yeah, at the moment, Saab is getting closer to Bando in fifth with 4/10 of a gap. And we're on lap 433 of the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League. But who are you watching so far, Tim?
On board with Burmeister at the moment as he tries to give chase to his teammate, but he's really losing some ground. So Ryan's got better speed in the slightly damp conditions that we're probably experiencing out here at the moment. But the rain is starting to pick up, Malc, so the longer that this happens, the more that Gareth's tires are really going to enjoy it. But I think you're right that it might still be hampering his performance a bit, because he's 6.9 seconds, 7 seconds now off of Surf Spud in 15th, and he is just dropping. He is losing every bit of ground that he hoped to have gained once everyone else decides to pit for the intermediates. So definitely not the right call from Gareth there. It was an educated guess, I think, that he had to take to go on the intermediate tires, as he probably expected that the rain would pick up before the safety car came in, which it did not. So Gareth, he took a risk, but unfortunately it's just not working out for him at the time. Maybe we could be wrong, maybe it'll work out for him in the end, but so far it's not looking good for the F1 commentator. But let's take a look at Harry now. He's in a little bit of a battle with Sab and Nitro Gas. Really not a heated battle per se, but he's there, just kind of hanging out, minding his own business, running his race, doing exactly what he needs to do, and that is outscoring Nightshades, who is all the way back in 11th place and seems to actually be struggling a little bit here, because I'm watching the time and it's actually increasing between him and Past, just ahead of him in 10th place. Nightshades, of course, leading this championship by 11 points going into this race, but that would not quite be the case if they finish the way they are now. I think that Nightshades might still retain the lead, but Harry would be a lot closer, thus taking this battle to Singapore.
True, but also don't forget Saab and Harry are joined together in 6th and 7th. You've got obviously Nightshades and Wojtek, they're in 11th and 13th. They can't afford to be at that position. They need to get past as quickly as possible. But when that time will tell, I do not know. It looks like Saab had a bit of a moment right at turn 15 at the chicane. Now I wonder if he's going to let his teammate through. We've got the Renault behind of Nitro Gas, which is Hulk. So will Harry try and push on? No, he won't. He'll try and make the move. It looks like Hulk is trying to make the move on to Nitro Gas for 8th. Oh, a little bit of contact. It looks like there's been a little bit of contact between Hulk and Nitro Gas, but still carrying on from up to the end of the first sector now. So, but Pass is getting close to this battle as well, and he'll be one to watch.
And Pass actually had a moment there. Did you see that, Malc? He had to correct that car. That was spinning on him, so I think the rain is starting to pick up and starting to catch these drivers out. Pass definitely had a little bit of a moment there in the rain, so we might start to see pit stops sooner rather than later.
We should be expecting them to be pitting now, especially on the softs, because these soft tyres ain't going to last long. But obviously, with the cold track, it might help a little bit longer. But then also, like I said, the soft tyres, I would expect them to be pitting now. Because look at Matty. Matty is really struggling at the moment, because Ryan is getting out at the back. Look, is Ryan... Matty's going to the pits. Ryan is still going out for another lap. So Burmeister would expect him to come out. It looks like Jinso is still coming out. There's quite a few drivers. They've all gambled to go on the intermediates now. So let me have a look at the gap between Gareth and Spud now. So that's, well, it was 22 seconds, but now it's up to 23.8. So I wonder if the cut-off point, they're trying to get on it that quick, Tim, to start off with, and then hopefully when the rain slowly picks it up, then that's where we see the proper drivers, how they're skillful in the wet conditions.
Yeah, and as far as Gareth, I really don't think he's going to improve much at all. He did get by Wojtek, but that's just about it. In fact, it looks like Gareth was able to jump a few drivers, so more drivers than I expected him to pass, but nonetheless, he is now on older intermediate tires, 4 laps older to be exact, so that is going to put him at a bit of a disadvantage around everyone else who just pitted for fresh tires. But taking a look at Ryan up there in first place, and we're about to find out if the overcut was the better strategy, because he is definitely struggling in the rain now through that corner that he just went through. He was turning dead the other way. It was a left-hand corner he had to turn right through. So Ryan is going to likely pit this time, but let's see if that overcut strategy actually worked. I'm going to go ahead and say no. I thought that a lap ago that it might work, but I don't think it's worked this time. But he does, in fact, go into the pits. I expect Burmeister to follow him as well, and Ginger Tiger will dive down into the pits as well. All 3 drivers in the pits now, going on the intermediate tires, undoubtedly. Look at Sir Spud out there, though. He's the only driver that hasn't pitted yet.
He's the only driver that is a pit, but he's really struggling, and now Saab's just overtook him, and what a move that was as well. And now Harry's just gone past Sir Spud now, so Sir Spud needs to get back into the pits. Oh, there's been contact. There's been contact between Norjagash and Sir Spud, as Norjagash lost a bit of his front wing. It doesn't look like he's lost a bit of his front wing, but it looked like he had a bit of a touch just behind Sir Spud, so that will compromise him a little bit. Now Ginger Tiger is just behind Norjagash now for 7th place. Pass is also coming out, same with Burr for 8th and 9th respectively as well, Tim. So we are in for a classic wet conditions now for the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League, Tim.
And that means it's officially raining. Of course, it's been raining for about 5 laps now, but still, it's officially raining. It's officially a wet weather race, and it is going to be fantastic. Just taking a look at Pass now, trying to get around Burmeister. Now that we're on the intermediate tires, we might see a little bit more racing, because they're going to have a little bit more grip than what the slicks would have. Of course, you got to remember, it is still water on the track, so they're not going to have the ideal amounts of grip, so it's not going to be as exciting maybe as dry weather tires with close quarter racing is, but nonetheless, it's going to be okay. Just taking a look at Ginger Tiger now as he's trying to give chase to his car-allocated teammate of Nitro Gash. And talking about Ryan earlier, to see if that overcut strategy worked, he's in 2nd place. So I'm going to say it did not work, especially considering that the AlphaTauri had the double stack, which is why Burmeister is all the way in 8th.
Absolutely, and I do believe the undercut is more powerful than the overcut. But again, they may know something that we don't know as well. So, but at the moment, it looks like Gareth, who should be with a bit more of a warm-up intermediate tyres, now trying to close the gap onto O'Steven with the overtake now and trying to close the gap as much as possible. He's going to have to try and make the move. No, he doesn't. He's trying to hold back a little bit, but we might have to go back to the battle between Ginger Tiger, Burmeister and Pass as well for 7th, 8th and 9th respectively. But also it should be a good classic battles from all parts of the drivers in the track as well, Tim.
I think it's going to be just riding on board with Pass now. Burmeister, though, he pulls away from him in that corner, so he is really starting to come into form in this wet weather. He's starting to get close to Ginger Tiger up there, so now they're going up this uphill blind right-hander. Ginger Tiger going maybe a little bit wide. Burmeister going even wider than that, though. So everything's A-okay there, using up the curb as much as they can. A little bit of a lockup from Burmeister as he goes into that corner, but he's getting closer to Ginger Tiger. There might be a move here for him here in just a moment. If he can stay this close to Ginger Tiger, he might be able to set up a pass going into turn number 1.
He might have a chance, to be fair to him. He might have a chance, but it just depends on, as I said earlier on, it's the driver's skill. If you don't master it in the wet, then you're not a racing driver at all. If you can't master it at all in the wet conditions. But there's 3 battles galore. We got Stab, Harry and Bando for 3rd, 4th and 5th. We got Ginger Tiger, Burmeister as well as Pass trying to close the gap for 7th place, and also the battle between Nightshades and Gareth for 12th and 13th. Gareth trying to hold on as well. You just don't know which one to pick in tonight's Invictus Racing League, the Performance League, in this race tonight, Tim.
And Burmeister, he lost every bit of ground through the final few corners that he worked so hard to gain on Ginger Tiger, and now Pass is getting even closer to Burmeister, but this is where Pass lost out. So let's see if he lost out on Burmeister again. I think he did. See, Burmeister, he is very, very strong around the end of the first sector and throughout the entire second sector. But then once you get to the final few corners in the third sector, Burmeister really drops off, and that's where he's struggling to get around Ginger Tiger. And when he drops off, that is when Pass is able to get right back up to the back of that car. But then Pass struggles in the second sector, thus losing every bit of ground that he worked to get close to Burmeister. So it's just a never-ending cycle of frustration that these drivers are having to deal with.
Absolutely, and it's just... I wonder if he's just trying to wait for that moment to try and get past Ginger Tiger, but with that racing point, getting that Mercedes-powered car against the AlphaTauri of the Honda, you can tell the difference as well, because Ginger Tiger is pulling away massively by 4/10. Again, Pass is trying to wait to make the pass move. Yellow flag set to 3. Yellow flag set to 3. I believe that is Tarak. Tarak must have made a mistake at the last corner at turn 15, but still, unbelievable stuff, and good points for Saab and Harry. I nearly said Nigel Gush, sorry. Saab and Harry for their team, for the constructors. This is massive points at this moment in stage, and now the wet is getting, the rain is getting even a little bit heavier. So this is going to be massive.
Oh,
and Pass is out.
What happened to Pass?
I think I didn't catch it, but
goodness. He wrecked out in the second sector before the uphill right-hander. It figures that happened right as I went to take a look at Harry, so did not get to see what happened to Pass, but he had a good day going for him, but not anymore.
No, absolutely not. And it was the same place as what happened between the contact from, I believe, from one of the Renaults against Gareth earlier on in the race, but that is the same, pretty much the same place. So unfortunately for Pass, he is out of the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League, and now Saab has just gone past Bando for third place. Can Saab hold on? Oh, I wonder if has Bando lost a bit of his front wing? It looked like he caught the back end of Saab. Yellow flags on sector 3 again. That is definitely between Wojtek and Tarak again. Those from those two drivers at the back of the grid. But at this moment in time, Saab is now in third place and on for a chance to get a podium tonight. So that's still impressive stuff from him. Matty is in first place, Ryan is in second, Saab third, Bando fourth, Harry fifth, Nitro in sixth, Ginger Tiger seventh, Burmeister in eighth, Hulk is in ninth, O'Stephen in 10th, Nine Shades is in 11th, Gareth Orr is in 12th, Wojtek is in 13th, Tarak 14th, and Spud is in 15th place with Pass, Eric and TL4 Forest are the only drivers who are out of the Performance League. Tim.
Yeah, now watching the battle between Harry and Bando Biz. Bando Biz, after losing third place to Saab, just seems to be dropping like a rock, and Harry, like a fisherman, has got him on the hook and is reeling him in. Bando Biz just really dropping back. I'm honestly surprised that he's not as fast as he was earlier, but here comes Harry. He's starting to really speed up, but he just cannot get the power down in that final corner. And with that Haas car going up against an Alfa Romeo, they're a fairly close team performance-wise, but Alfa Romeo is just slightly better. So that is where Bando Biz is really having the advantage over Harry, but Harry is a quick driver. He's a fast driver. There's a reason why his name is being said in the same sentence as championship this season, because he's got a real chance at it. And he's in 5th place now with his closest competitor, Nightshades, in 11th. So Harry is doing what he needs to do, but he wants to continue to do that and get around Bando Biz and get every bit of points that he possibly can here today.
At the moment, Tim, if it stays like this, without the fastest lap point, I'll double check to see who has got the fastest lap point. If you bear with me a sec. Fastest lap point. Fastest lap is on Wojtek, so Wojtek is on the fastest lap. So at the moment, Saab and Harry would have 36 points tonight. 36 points if it stays like this. Nightshades and Wojtek, they would have 18 points. That's half. That is half of what the other team is doing, of Saab and Harry. So this could be the deciding moment of those two teams. I know the points is just going to be massive either way, but it could be closer to the Saab and Harry for winning the constructors the way it looks at the moment. But obviously, there's plenty of laps to go in this Invictus Racing League, the Performance League, and Hulk has got a 3-second time penalty for multiple warnings as well. So there's a lot to do, and we can't wait for the second half. Coming up to the second half of the race, Tim.
Yeah, and you know, Malc, as it's looking now, it's anyone's championship, but it's very possible that we could see a driver win the championship whose constructor did not win the constructors championship. So that that just goes to show how close that it really is. Of course, we mentioned before the race today that going into this race, Bump and Run Racing and B-Tech Racing, they were just 1 point between each other. So that is a good point that you bring up. Saab being in third place at the moment and Harry being in fifth. They're really doing a good job here today for B-Tech Racing to try to secure that constructor's standings. And I'm surprised to see Saab up there on the podium. Apparently he has got some wet weather skill here. And, that Mercedes is definitely helping him out, but we cannot take away from the driver. You still have to be able to hang on to it as Harry hangs on to it. My goodness, did you see that, Malc? A big wiggle from the Haas driver.
Absolutely, and he was just a lucky bloke, to be fair. Harry holding on massively, but then I said to you earlier on to watch out for for Matty. Getting my head round. Matty in first place. He won the F3 race last night, and he's could be on for another win, but in the Performance League tonight. So that's a stellar of a job. But Burmeister try and close the gap onto Ginger Tiger. I think Burmeister will be absolutely fuming. He wants to get past Ginger Tiger as quickly as possible. But as I said, with the performance type car, you need that extra skill for the drivers, to be fair, to produce something that they cannot do that opponent ahead of you, Tim.
Yeah, you're right about that, Malc. You have to be careful in this rain too, because your instinct is you just want to get on the gas just a little bit sooner so that maybe you can get a better exit out of that corner. But when it's raining like this, you get on that gas and you're just going to spin your tires and you're going to slide everywhere and you're going to wreck. But Burmeister was able to get closer to Ginger Tiger that time, so maybe he's got something left in the tank. But Ginger Tiger put a lot of distance between Burmeister and himself that time around in that particular corner. So it's really just a corner-by-corner basis as far as who has got the advantage, and Burmeister cannot get the advantage out of the right corners to set up a pass. True,
but again, as you said earlier on, Burmeister does well in the first few sectors, but as soon as they go onto the straight, that's where Ginger Tiger is try and push the gas a lot, and then with the ERS and try and push on.
Contact! Did you see that, Malc? There was a little bit of contact between Ginger Tiger and Burmeister.
No, I didn't. Sorry, I was watching Bando and Harry with that battle, but what happened there, Tim?
Going through the final chicane, it's like Ginger Tiger just went a lot slower than what Burmeister expected him to, and he kind of pushed him through through that final part of the chicane. I don't think there's any wing damage, but there was definitely a little bit of contact there, so Burmeister got off very lucky.
This is what I mean. You can't. It's like as soon as you touch the car, if it was like a proper realistic damage, then obviously that wing would have been gone easily. But I think he's been really lucky tonight. Same with the other drivers, Tim. Same with the other drivers who are trying to hold on. Because if you lose that wing, that's it. You're gone, pretty much. You really have gone. Now Harry's trying to close the gap onto Bando for fourth place. But hopefully he'll try and close the gap. Ryan's getting close to Matty in first place, and also Burmeister trying to close the gap onto Ginger Tiger again. But we're at the halfway marker, Tim. We're at the halfway marker. The rain is still going. Is there a driver that you have been impressed so far at the halfway marker?
Well, I've got to say that I am very surprised that Ryan has been able to hold his footing up there in second place. He qualified in, I believe it was fourth or fifth. He was somewhere close to the front. So I wouldn't be surprised to see him up there if we were in dry conditions. But the fact that he was fast in the dry conditions and continued to be fast after transitioning over to the intermediate tires, that's when you know that you really do have a fast driver. And he's kept Matty within his sights this entire race. The gap between them is 1.2 seconds. But make no mistake, Ryan can not only see Matty, he can read the letters on that car. If it had a license plate, he could make it out. Like, that is how close Ryan has been to Matty this entire race. And even though there is no DRS, so there's no benefit of being within a second of him, he's averaged about a second distance. So if Ryan, oh my goodness, and he slides just a little bit, that almost ended his day. But he's able to hang on to it, and if Ryan can just, not make mistakes like that and get a little bit faster here, or if Matty slows down, then we could be talking about him in victory lane today.
Absolutely, absolutely, and hopefully he'll try and close the gap to Matty, but again, the rain is not helping. Oh my God, Hulk nearly lost it. I don't know if you saw that, Tim. Hulk nearly lost it at the blind right-hander, the fast right-hander, shall we say. But now, Harry's getting close to Bando now for fourth place, but as you said earlier on, Ryan started off in fourth place and he's moved up 2 positions. The biggest mover of the race so far is Bando with 8 positions from 12th to 4th in a great race so far. Oh my God, Burmeister right at the back of Ginger Tiger. So here we go. Can Burmeister try and make the move now? He's been patient enough to try and make the move, but not enough to get past him. He'll be absolutely fuming after. Oh, a little bit of contact again between himself and Ginger Tiger. But again, Tim, I do apologise if I interrupted you as well, but that was close battle racing, but cannot get past him. Burmeister cannot get past Ginger Tiger tonight.
And it's one of those moments that really kind of has you, just tense up for a moment, because it's going to be close as to whether he's even going to get there. And the anticipation is, sometimes a driver, if they think they're close enough, they're just going to send it into that corner. Now, granted, with the wet weather conditions that we're experiencing now, that's less likely to happen, because these drivers are smart enough to know that that's not going to end well. But you know that that's a possibility.
Oh my God!
Prepare for it. Oh my goodness, Hulkenberger, what happened to him?
He lost it at the fast right-hander. He lost the car, and he just completely lost the car. And he hit the wall, and we have got yellow flags on sector 2. We have got, and there's a bit of debris. We've got the virtual safety car, Tim. We have got the virtual safety car. But that was a nasty crash there from Hulk, who is now out of the race. And now Ginger Tiger has got a 5-second penalty for severe collision with Burmeister. So, not sure exactly what happened from those drivers' point of view.
You want to know what happened, Mount?
Say that again, sorry, Tim.
You want to know what happened there, Mount? Take a look at Burmeister's front wing. Burmeister accidentally got into the back of Ginger Tiger, but Ginger Tiger was wrongly given the penalty.
Oh, okay. It was just, it cropped up on the information. That's why I was wondering what was going on. So I'm glad you pointed that out there, Tim. Thank you for that. Because I was wondering what was going on. And now, the virtual safety car has now ended. And now Matty's still holding on for first. Ryan trying to hold on for second, but Harry really going for it. Try and close the gap onto Bando for fourth place. But Tim, mad race tonight.
Yeah, mad race indeed. And I just hate that Ginger Tiger was given that penalty to begin with, and it's actually not showing up anymore, so I guess he must have served it during the pit stop. But I was going to say that if he had not served that penalty during the pit stop, that it really would have brought an end to what was a very good battle between these two drivers. But
yeah, no, sorry, Tim, I didn't mean to interrupt you there, but Bando lost the back end just before the fast right-hander, and now he's trying to hold on, but Harry trying to make the move just before the fast right-hander, but now can't do anything yet. But Tim, sorry to interrupt you there, but carry on. What was you saying? Sorry.
No, you're fine, Malc. Actually, what happened was that we both kind of saw a moment, and we started to call it at the same time. I heard Burmeister kind of lock up, and I thought that he was going to go off the track while you were watching Bando Biz, and it's just what happens during the rain race. But one thing I'm noticing now, I'm watching Ryan. He is in first place. Matty pitted, Ryan didn't, and now he has got a 19-second lead over Matty with just 14 laps to go. The question is, will those intermediates hold that long?
It just depends. Well, it just depends on how much they can try and hold on as much as possible. But Gareth pitted on when he did 12 laps of the tyre wear. Burmeister nearly made the move on Ginger Tiger, but not enough to get past. So again, it's just you're just wondering when these guys are going to try and push on. But Nitrogas had that 3-second time penalty earlier on, so he'll be trying to get close to these guys into the top 3. But he's doing absolutely fine at the minute. But so I'm wondering when Ryan is going to try and pit, because Matty's just crossed over the second sector now. Just depends on when Ryan pits now, and he does pit, Tim. He does pit now, so this is where the undercut is going to be strong. You would think anyway. But again, I might be wrong, depending on if Matty makes any silly mistakes during the last third sector. So mad scenes now, and it looks like Ryan is slowly coming out. But Tim, who are you watching so far?
I am watching this. Let's see who wins this battle off of pit road. It's going to be Matty. Matty goes into first. Ryan's going to have to stay in second place, but he's going to have slightly fresher tires, and I think he got a little bit closer to Matty than what he was before. Actually, no, he didn't. No, he did not. He is about the same distance between the two. He was close to a free pit stop, but just was not able to complete it. So Ryan going to stay in second place, but with 1 lap fresher tires on those intermediates might be the difference toward the end of the race. Highly doubt it, though, because Matty has been so quick all day. I just feel like that's going to continue. But if Ryan can step up the pace, then he's still got a chance. But let's take a look at Harry now. He's getting so close to Bando for 4th place. The gap was, for a moment, 0.3 of a second, now down to about half a second, and it's just jumping around everywhere. They're in the first sector, and the rain is really starting to pick up, so Harry, I'm sure, is having trouble actually seeing ahead of him, and he's more or less just having to follow the spray coming off of Bando's car instead of actually following the track itself sometimes.
I don't know how these drivers can do it, but obviously if they're watching it from their point of view, they would be struggling massively. They would have had to go on the other side of the track to try and see the clear pathway, to see when they're going to have to break the braking points, especially when some of these drivers have got no assists as well. And that's what really impressive as well. Drivers like Harry, who have been with no assists from the start, and in the wet conditions as well, that is the most challenging and most toughest drive you would ever expect. But once you get the rhythm going, you probably think, it's easy enough. But from that perspective, Harry's been really, really impressive, and now he's trying to close the gap onto Bando. Has he got an opportunity now to try and make the move? Oh, still not enough. Not enough yet. Yellow flag set to 2. I believe that's Sir Spud. Sir Spud has lost it at, I believe, turn 7? Yeah, just before the fast right-hander, the blind right-hander, as we say. But, Tim, who are you watching so far?
Still watching this battle between Harry and Bando. Cannot take my eyes off it at the moment. Harry is getting ever so much closer, but so is Nitro Gash getting closer to Harry just behind him. So it's a 3-car battle for the 4th position. Bando being the sitting duck here and just trying to hold off not 1, but 2 drivers to stay in 4th place.
Absolutely, and they're doing everything possible to try and defend. Well, either way, Nitrogas with that 3-second time penalty will not lose any positions just yet, unless Stephen decides to catch up with these three drivers. Depends. But while that's going on, I was watching this battle between Nightshade's Wojtek and Gareth. Gareth right close to Wojtek. And they're trying to be absolutely careful at the blind right-hander, or the fast right-hander, shall we say. But Gareth trying to think what can he do to get past these 2 teammates as well. But if you like what you see so far, guys, please make sure you like, subscribe to the Invictus Racing League YouTube channel for all the live races itself. check them out, guys, and also check out Twitch, as well as all the other social media sites of Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Check them out, guys. Please check them out. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow. And also check out the InvictusRacingLeague.com. All the live updates and everything that's related to Invictus Racing Leagues. But yeah, Tim, going back to that 4th, 5th, and 6th place battle, what does Harry have to do, or Nigelcash has to do, to try and get past Bando? I know you have to get past him, obviously, to get into 4th, but when do you think Bando will be the one to make a mistake at which corner?
Honestly, I'm not sure if Bando's going to be making a mistake. He's just seemed to be so solid all day. He stayed, thereabouts the podium position, or close to it, as he is now in 4th place. Not the podium, but he's very close. And I just think that he's going to be able to be solid all day. So what Harry has to do, instead of waiting for Bando to make a mistake, he's going to have to start figuring out a way to get a run on him. Maybe try to back up the corner a little bit, let off the throttle just a little bit earlier entering so that you can get on the throttle a little sooner. But, of course, you got to be very careful with the rain out there. So maybe try to short shift to get a little bit of grip in that car.
Definitely short shift, but it just depends on, as long as the back end does not go. It looks like Burmeister nearly lost the back end of that Alpha Tower car as well, and I think he's just had enough of that Racing Point car. He needs to try and get past, because he has lost so much time and so much positions to stand any chance of doing well tonight in the performance league. While this is going on, you've got Wojtek and Gareth also battling out at the back of the grid. Just trying to have a look to see if it doesn't look like that people are trying to make the overtakes just yet, because obviously they don't want to risk it just yet. They're trying to see him be patient enough to say, right, if you make a mistake, I will pounce at this situation. But at this moment in time, I can't see that happening. But at the moment, I don't know if you've seen at the top two, Tim, where Matty and Ryan have been like dog-eat-dog moment in top 2. Brilliant drive from them two, and they're 7/10 now. 7/10 is the gap, Tim.
Yeah, Ryan has definitely been able to close the gap to Matty just a little bit. We'll take a look at them now. Right on board with Ryan, and you can still see Matty up there. As I said, that Ryan has kept Matty within his sights this entire race. So even if Ryan finishes 2nd today, you cannot say that he did it because of lack of effort, because he has stayed as close to Matty as he possibly can. And Matty, actually, you saw him there try to break that slipstream going down that straightaway. So now out of the first 2 corners, and Matty is starting to pull away. 1.1 seconds now, was 1.2 for a moment. And again, it's just a corner-by-corner basis, just like we've seen with Ginger Tiger and Burmeister, is that Ryan is good at one part of the track, and then Matty is good at another part of the track. And you have to remember the difference between the McLaren and the AlphaTauri. The McLaren is just a little bit better, but again, not by that much. So Ryan can definitely still catch Matty and get around him, assuming that Matty isn't just this amazing wet weather driver, which you were saying he's been practicing on, so he might very well be.
He's, I say, last night the F3 League, he was immense. He was pushing on massively, and then he was banging out with pass yesterday. It was just immense stuff, but I can't, unless Matty makes a silly mistake now, which I doubt it very much, when Tarak has retired in the pits. Tarak has retired in the pits, so he will not get any points tonight in Invictus Racing League, the Performance League. Just trying to have a look.
Ryan spins off into the chicane, the final chicane. Ryan spun through the grass, no wing damage, but definitely not close enough to see Matty anymore.
That is the shock of it all, because Ryan's been absolutely impressive in the wet conditions, trying to close the gap onto Matty, but that slight mistake now has brought Saab of a chance of a 2nd place finish as well, Tim.
Yeah, and somehow Tarak is out on track despite retiring from this race. So not sure what's going on there. There was a yellow flag in the first sector, and there's still a yellow flag in the first sector because of Tarak's car. But Saab is now getting closer to Ryan. Let's see if Saab is able to get around Ryan and go for 2nd place. Ryan is starting to get faster now, pull away from Saab just a little bit out of that corner. But the question is how are Ryan's tires holding up, because that spin definitely did not do any favors for those tires. Might have a little bit of a flat spot on him, that's for sure. And it was just a matter that he lost it all on his own and slid through the grass. Got very lucky, though, because he slid back on track and was more or less pointed the same direction they needed to be. So he did not lose near as much time as he could have, but definitely not what he wanted. And I'd say that pretty much took him out of contention for a win.
Absolutely, and that will cost him dearly. But with, well, Ryan's getting closer now, just a tenth here and there on part of the track itself. But I just wanted to see if he could try and bounce back. But that must have dented his confidence of winning the Spanish Grand Prix tonight. But at the moment, unless Matty makes a mistake, which I can't see that happening, Matty's going to be on for a double win of the week, because he's won last night in the F3 League, and now he could have a chance to win the Performance League tonight. That is really impressive stuff from Matty. And also Harry trying to close the gap now onto Bando. He needs to try and make the move done. He can't get past him. He cannot get past Bando for fourth. He's trying everything he can, but either way, would you risk to make the move to get into fourth if he was in that position, Tim? Or would you be patient enough to see if Bando makes a mistake?
If it wasn't the last two races, maybe. But because it's the last two races, no, I would not push at all. I would just ride behind Bando, and sure, if the opportunity presents itself, maybe I try to get around him, but I certainly would not take any unnecessary risk, because at the moment Harry is in 5th place. He is exactly where he needs to be. Nightshades is 10th, Harry is 5th. All Harry has to do is finish this race where he is, and he will gain on Nightshades. He won't be leading the points per se, but he will gain on him.
He will gain on him, but it's just you can't, like I said, at this stage I wouldn't risk it for a biscuit, pretty much. I wouldn't risk it for this scenario, especially when there's a constructor's points on the line. I mean, I've seen it where, I've said this many times, I've seen a race where one of the drivers has lost out the Drivers' Championship on the last lap of the last race, and that driver won, and that was Spud in the F3 League, was completely out of the title race, and then Spud won it on the last lap of Brazil, when Colin J lost it at the last lap. And looks like Harry has had a bit of a moment of the back end just gone, and now he's drifting partially, not much, probably. Burmeister has fight. Oh! There's been contact between Burmeister and Ginger Tiger. I think Ginger Tiger just caught the back end of the car of the back wheels of Burmeister at turn 2, I believe. Turn 2, turn 3. Yeah, turn 2. So yeah, mad seas. But now Harry is getting the chance to close the gap onto Bando. While this is going on, we've got Nightshades, Wojtek and Gareth banding out for 9th, 10th and 11th respectively. Harry's making the move! Harry's made the move on the inside. And what a move there, Tim! What a move there from Harry!
So Harry not wasting any time getting around Bando Biz, and now moving himself into the 4th position, while Nightshades moved himself up into the 9th position after that contact with Burmeister and Ginger Tiger. So both drivers on that lap moving up a position, so no change in the points so far, just a different position that both of them are running in. But let's go back and take a look at Nightshade's Wojtek and Gareth Hall. They are so very close to one another. We're right on board with Gareth Hall here, and it's lap 29 of 33, so just 4 laps to go in this race today. So it is getting so very close. It is pretty much go time for these drivers. Gareth now losing out a lot to Wojtek, but Wojtek starting to gain maybe a little bit on his teammate of Nightshades there. So you got to remember, this is bump and run racing here, Nightshades and Wojtek, and they are running 9th and 10th. So they're going to score some okay points today. Not necessarily decent, but some okay points. The decent points are going to belong to Sab and Harry, because they are 3rd and 4th at the moment for VTech Racing, but they still have to finish this race. So don't count your chickens before they hatch. This race is not over yet. It's lap 29 of 33, and Wojtek is getting a little bit closer to Nightshades.
He is. He's trying to get close, but point scenarios. Oh, yellow flag set to 2. That is, I believe, the Spud just laying some of the drivers through. Point scenarios at the minute. Saab and Harry in 3rd and 4th. 37 points together. 37 points. In Nightshades and Wojtek in 9th and 10th is 23 points. So, 14-point gap of the constructors. 14 points. They were 1 point difference. So now, if it stays like this, it will be 15 points is the gap with the constructors. So the constructors will definitely be decided at the end of the race. Sorry, the end of the season race. So we say the last race of the season. Same with the battle between the drivers' standings. Obviously, Harry is in 4th. Harry in 4th with 17 points. 17 points, Harry in 4th, and then you got Nightshades is in 9th, which is 12 points. So absolutely mad stuff. I will have to have a look at the tables, but I'll let you carry on, Tim.
So Nitro Gash battling with Bando Biz here. Bando Biz in 5th, Nitro Gash in 6th place, of course, and the Racing Point Machine losing a little bit of ground to Bando that time around. Lap 30 of 33, Maddie is 4.9 seconds ahead of Ryan after Ryan's unfortunate spin just a few laps ago. So Saab is actually starting to get a little bit closer to Ryan here, 0.8 of a second separating these drivers.
Absolutely, and it's just been absolutely mad racing, and now just having a look at some of the drivers now. It looks like Saab trying to close the gap onto Ryan now, who's in 2nd place. But Saab on his, let me just have a look. Saab is on his. Saab, who has not had a podium at all season long, could be on for a chance for his first ever podium this season. That is really impressive stuff there from Saab, Tim.
It really is, and it helps B-Tech Racing out in the standings as well, but more so it helps Saab out because he could really use a podium. Like you said, he hasn't scored one yet this season. And with him being in the Mercedes, that would indicate that his performance this season in the Invictus Racing League just hasn't really been what a driver would want, at least when he's in the realistic performance, because how we allocate the cars is the slower drivers get the faster cars, and the faster drivers get the slower cars to try to even it out and balance the field out. So even though the Mercedes gives Saab a nice little benefit, he doesn't necessarily want to be in the Mercedes because it means that his performance hasn't been great, but it's been absolutely miraculous today. And even if Saab DNF'd out of this race right now, I would still say good job to him because he ran a hard-fought race. But it's lap 31 of 33. Let's hope that doesn't happen so that he could see this all the way through and maybe get his first podium of the season.
Hopefully so, but Gareth, who had an unfortunate collision earlier on in the race, he's now in 11th and trying to close the gap onto Wojtek, who's in 10th place with 14 laps on those intermediate tyres, trying to get past as much as possible. Points scenario, here's an update. If it stays like this, Tim, with the drivers, Nightshades, if he stays there in 9th, will be 202 points as it stands. Harry will be on 196. That's 6 points, unless I'm mistaken, unless I've got the points completely wrong. But that is what I'm seeing at the moment. That is 6 points. 6 points. Close. If it stays like this at the end of the race, Tim.
And that is insanely close, and I really hope it stays like this because I want to see a tense championship battle in Singapore. That is amazing, and I'm glad that you pointed that out, Malc, because Nightshades, he has really not had a good race all day. I mean, he's had an okay race. He's kept it clean, which is what he needs to do, and as long as we complete one more lap and he doesn't DNF out of this race, he will be able to score some points.
Sorry to interrupt there. Gareth's making a move! Oh, on the inside, he's going to be careful! Has he made the move? He's still keeping on the outside! Has he made the move round the outside? Oh, what a move! What a move there! Unbelievable stuff there, Tim. Did you see that?
Good job to Gareth making a move on the outside of a blind uphill right-hander in the rain. What even was that? Where has that been all season, my friend?
I bet you'd be asking the same question. What a move! What a move there from Gareth. Now he's going to try and challenge Nightshades for 9th place on the final lap. We're on the final lap of the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League. Live exclusive at the Spanish Grand Prix. Matty holding on well, I say holding on, he's 4 seconds quicker with the gap between himself and Ryan in 1st place. Saab for his first podium in 3rd place, trying to close the gap. But I'm still speechless with that. Nightshades is getting close to Bando. I really don't know what to say anymore now, because Matty is now coming up to the final few corners now. So can Matty, who's done an absolute stellar of a drive, Tim. He's done an absolute stellar of a drive, and I'll tell you what, I'll let you do the honours to finish him off.
You know, when you think of the greats in Formula One in the wet, you think of Prost, Senna, and Schumacher. But today, in the Invictus Racing League, it is Matty with the win in Barcelona, Ryan in 2nd, Saab in 3rd, Harry maybe in 4th, as long as he can make the final 2 corners out of the chicane. Now 1 more corner to go. Will he be able to cross the line into 4th place? Yes, he will. It's going to be okay for Harry. He gets points today. Good job for Harry and B-Tech Racing. Saab gets his first podium.
Saab gets his first podium. I was just, as you was watching that, Gareth was trying to get himself back into the battle between himself and Wojtek, but then he lost a few positions coming up to the 3rd sector, and unfortunately his tyre is completely gone now. So, stellar, brilliant move, but Burmeister just letting Gareth through for 10th place. I don't know if there was any contact between the 2 drivers, but
and
what a race!
Nightshades jumped up to 8th place on that last lap.
So, if I remembered it right, 203. So 203 compared to 196, I think it was. Did I say 196?
I believe so.
Yeah, so 7 points is the gap from the top 2 drivers of between Nightshades and Harry. But don't get me wrong, well done to Harry. Well done to Matty on the win tonight at the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League, at the Spanish Grand Prix. Brilliant drive from him. But I'll tell you what, Tim, I'll let you do the honours for the classification.
And the official finishing results for the Invictus Racing League Realistic Performance Spanish Grand Prix is Matty in 1st, Ryan in 2nd, Saab in 3rd, his first podium of the season, Harry in 4th, Bando Biz in 5th, 6th is O-Steven, 7th is Nitro Gas, Nightshades in 8th place, taking that battle to Singapore next week. Wojtek in 9th, 10th is Gareth Hall, Ginger Tiger in 11th, 12th is Burmeister, 13th is Sir Spud, 14th is Tarak Hulkenberger in 15th, 16th is Pass, 17th is Eric Pancakes, TL44S in 18th place. We're going to talk to our top 3 drivers, that, of course, being Matty, Ryan, and Saab here in just a moment. But, Malc, I'm going to let you give them the questions today.
Oh, okay. Cheers for that, mate. I'm going to see what their thoughts of their brilliant drives tonight, and see what their thoughts on the results of the Invictus Racing League, the Performance League tonight. But we'll just try to get some of the drivers in for Matty, Ryan and Saab to hear their thoughts of in the commentators box. But also, what a drive. I'm sure Tim would agree with me. What a drive from all the drivers tonight. There's been some unbelievable moments from all drivers itself. But hopefully we'll hear some of the drivers in a moment too while we're getting the classification off screen. Just waiting for the last bits now, but overall, what a drive from Matty, Ryan and Saab. Brilliant stuff, and Saab getting his first ever podium, so he'll be absolutely delighted. So we'll talk to him first, then we'll talk to Ryan, and then Matty for his epic double win. When I say double win because he won the F3 last night, and now he's done it again to win the Performance League in tonight's race. So let's hear their thoughts. But right, before I say anything, guys, please make sure allow voice to be shared is set to always allow. If you're not sure how to do it, go to the party settings, and there's an option called allow voice to be shared. Make sure it's set to always allow. So while the drivers are going to be set and ready to go, we'll be talking, as I said, we're talking to the top 3 drivers. So just hopefully, I'm not sure if I think Matty, the winner, cannot make it tonight. I think he's just had some issues with his headphones itself. So we'll probably talk to Saab and Ryan tonight. So guys, are you all set, ready to go?
I'm ready.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice one. So we'll talk to Saab first, and then we're going to talk to Ryan for their podium finishes. Saab, it's good to see you back in the podium. How you doing? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. It was a tough race. I think that rain, I think, helped me somewhat because I normally struggle around this track. So with that rain, I was able to manage the car a bit better around here. And once I got past Bando, it was a pretty boring race for me, to be fair. But in the end, yeah, I just tried to play it sensible. Really, didn't want to take any risks and just secure that 3rd place.
Absolutely, and I was trying to do the live updates from you and Harry, as well as Nightshades and Wojtek, with you 2 teams battling out on track as well. This is massive points, and your first ever. How does it feel to get your first ever podium of the season as well, Saab, tonight?
Yeah, it's good to finally get a podium this season. I've had a couple of 4th places and 5th places this season, and I think I just needed a bit more luck to get 3rd. And like I say, once I got past Bando, I knew I had a bit more pace in him, so I could just stretch that lead out over him. And I was hoping Harry could get past Bando and get us more points, which he did. So this, like you say, is big points for us in the constructors going into the final round.
I believe, I think, if I remembered it right, I think it's 14 points is the gap. I think I might be wrong of the constructors, but don't judge me after until we get the standings as well. But from your perspective, Saab, from your racing itself, you saw that Ryan had a mistake, which I'll speak to him later about his spin. Did you feel like, you might have a chance to get 2nd tonight as well?
Well, I didn't know he had a spin at first, and then I all of a sudden, because he was slowly building a gap to me after his pit stop, and I didn't realise he had a spin until I saw the car in front of me, and I didn't know if it was, at first I didn't realise it was I thought it might have been like a ghost car or a lap car or something. I didn't realise it was him until I noticed the times on the top left say it dropped from 4.5 seconds to 1.1 seconds. I was like, all right. And I pushed for a few laps, and I thought I might be able to get in here. But the problem was, in these conditions, with the battery down the straights, it's quite easy to defend in these conditions. And I didn't really want to risk any overtakes and potentially cost myself a podium. So I tried a few laps to see if I could just upset him a little bit, to see if I could make another mistake. But towards the end, I just thought better to just play safe and pick that 3rd place up.
Absolutely. And one more question before you shoot off, sorry. With the constructors, and obviously you had I feel like you've had a good season for yourself, for the drivers. Obviously you're in the top 5, if I remember it right. Top 5, I think it was. Do you feel like you've got the chance now, a bit of a step now, to get the constructors for next week, or is that too much to ask?
It's obviously put us in a better position. With me and Harry's had some good races the previous races. I don't want to say we're favourites or anything, because Singapore, being a street track, it's easy to make a mistake round there and you lose a wheel or a front ring or something, and suddenly you've gone from favourites to crashing out. So I'm not going to say we're favourites. Nightshades and Wojtek are very fast drivers as well, so who knows what could happen next week. We've just got to play it sensible from the get-go. We're starting the reverse grid, and I think we just keep it clean and keep his heads down, try and score maximum points, and we'll just see where we finish at the end of it. But I don't want to start thinking about being favourite or anything, because that I think adds more pressure to the final race.
I'm not saying one word, but it's like a commentator's. I don't want to say it as a commentator's curse or anything like that at all. But I just wanted to hear your thoughts to see if you've got a chance with the construct. I know you've got a good position now, but I just want to hear your thoughts to see if you got that chance at the Singapore track as well. So, Saab, You have finally got yourself your podium first time this season, and you had some great performances this season, I feel like. And I wish you all the very best of luck for the best of luck for next week at the Singapore Grand Prix. Congratulations on getting third tonight. Well done tonight.
Thank you.
You can stay if you want to shoot up. It's up to you. But thank you very much for joining tonight.
Shoot off. Thank you. Thanks for
no
that.
worries. No worries, Sab. Have a good evening, mate. Right, Ryan, how you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad, mate. Not too bad. From your perspective, I'll probably say a few questions on this, but you had throughout the race, you've had a massive battle with Matty, but I think the most talking point which I'm going to ask is your spin at the chicane.
Yeah, halfway through the race, of course, I had a great start from P4 up to P2. Halfway through the race, my ankle really started hurting, and I really had some problems with the throttle and stuff. So yeah, I don't blame it on that, but just a driver mistake, I guess. Last sector, low speed is very difficult here in the rain. Couldn't follow Matty, of course, on dirty air fault as well. Yeah, I don't know. Could be a driver mistake, but yeah, just one of those days, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And you, as I said, you was really pushing Matty all the way up to that chicane part. But obviously, you had a great start from fourth to second at the start of the race. But do you feel like you would have done anything different in the race up to that spin? Sorry, up to that spin.
As Sab said as well, you can't really overtake without DRS in these conditions. You can easily defend by using all of your energy, and yeah, I mean, the maximum was second place for sure. Maybe in the pit stops I could have, maybe undercut him or something. There was an option, but yeah, after all, I'm happy with P2. After my spin, I could have gotten much worse, but yeah, it's good now.
Yeah, because I was going to say, Saab was getting closer to you when you had that spin. Did you feel like you was under pressure from Saab after that bit?
Well, I know from my point of view, overtaking is really difficult. I could use all my ERS to defend on the straight. And yeah, with that in mind, I just had to keep it on track, make no mistakes, because I already had 2 warnings. Couldn't really have one more because I would have gotten a 3-second time penalty. But after all, it was a fun battle, of course, to not drive in no man's land, to have a battle with someone like Sab. He did a great job as well, his first podium in the league, and yeah, I'm happy with everything with P2.
Absolutely, and if I just a last minute thing, I think you've got a how many podiums have you had? You've had a bit of a record actually. You've got a podium, did not finish. Podium, did not start. Obviously, you was commentating with me last week, but now you've got another podium. I'm not going to say or jinx it, but please tell me you're not going to do a DNF or did not start next week as the pattern goes.
Who knows? In Singapore, it's really difficult to even maybe get in the points because I'm starting if we have a full grid P19, and I don't know. It's going to be very difficult. Maybe some risks in the next race. You know, Singapore is a difficult track to overtake, as I said before. We'll see. I don't hope it's going to be a DNF. I'm certainly going to start it, but let's hope it's not a DNF and have a fun race next week.
Hopefully not, mate. Hopefully not. But Ryan, you are a runner-up at the Spanish Grand Prix, so congratulations for you, mate. Well done for that. Brilliant drive from you. You was under a lot of pressure from Saab after that spin, but at the moment you did a brilliant job for finishing second. Well done, mate. You can stay if you want or shoot off, but it's up to you, mate. But thank you very much for joining tonight. Well done.
Yeah, have a good one.
Nice one. I'd like to thank Ryan and Saab for the commentators box. Matty, unfortunately, could not make it into the commentators box due to headset issues. Hopefully, he'll be back on the next time if he does win the next race. I'm hoping he will do sooner, hopefully next week, to hear his thoughts. But overall, I'm sure he would have been absolutely delighted with the race. But Tim, are you still there?
Yeah, I'm still here. Good questions there, and good to hear from two of top 3 drivers. Of course, unfortunately, Matty couldn't make it, but as you said, you know he's happy. I mean, he just won the race. He is absolutely on fire, and really, I think that it was a good race. It wasn't necessarily as action-packed as we expected it to be with the transition from dry too wet, but nonetheless, it was a good race, and we saw the championship battle continue to Singapore, or it will continue to Singapore, and I think that's really the most important thing, is that with Nightshades and Harry being able to finish that race, and Harry actually gaining on Nightshades a little bit, that does allow that battle to continue to Singapore, and it's just going to be an intense championship battle there. But congratulations to Maddie, congratulations to the top 3 finishers, thanks to everyone who watched the stream and everyone who raced with us. Malc, do you have any closing thoughts?
I don't know what to say. I think it's just absolutely brilliant racing from everyone, and some action-packed, bold moves. Obviously, there was a few talking points that we mentioned about, but also what a great move. I still can't believe that move from Gareth Hall round the outside at the fast right-hander. That's still mad stuff. But overall, I think it's been a good race, and I think with the reverse grid, I think we might see a few differences in the situations next week. But I'll let you do the final closing thoughts, mate. Well done.
I already have my closing thoughts, so that is all the time that we have for today. It's been a rough one for us, but I think we got through it, and we got through it pretty well. So next week it's going to be fun, and it's going to be a great race. So until next time, please have fun, and goodbye.